The 2020 NFL Draft is quickly approaching, a time of the year where the talent of college prospects is evaluated and everyone on Twitter thinks they're an expert. Today, we will look into one of the many prospects available, LSU quarterback Joe Burrow. Burrow's scouting report sums him up well, calling him the people's champ with rags to riches story arc culminating in one of the greatest one-year turnarounds in sports history. The story of Joe Burrow is one of the most entertaining underdog and turnaround stories in sports history. From a backup at Ohio State to underperforming starter at LSU, Joe Burrow rewrote his story in 2019 with what is said to be the greatest season for a quarterback in college football history. Burrow led the Tigers to an undefeated season and a national championship victory. In addition, he threw for an NCAA record 60 touchdowns and won the Heisman Trophy. We're going to take a look at the incredible rise of Joe Burrow and take a look at his scouting report as the NFL Draft nears. Joseph Lee Burrow, or Joe for short, was born on December 10, 1996 in Ames, Iowa. Joe is the son of Jim Burrow, who played defensive back at Nebraska and later played for the Packers before spending time in the CFL. He went on to have a successful coaching career, spending time at Washington State, Iowa State, Ames High School, Nebraska, North Dakota State, and Ohio, where he spent 2015 to 2018 as defensive coordinator. He was the defensive backs coach at Iowa at the time of Joe's birth. In addition to his father's athletic past, his grandfather played basketball at Mississippi, Uncle John played football at Ole Miss, and two brothers, Dan and Jamie, played football at Nebraska. Joe first played quarterback in his young league due to no one else being able to play the role, despite his father, uncle, and brothers all playing defense. Joe Burrow attended Athens High School in the Plains, Ohio. Burrow led the Bulldogs to their first 7 playoff victories in school history. Over his successful career, Burrow threw for 11,416 yards and 157 touchdowns. On the ground, he went for 2,067 yards and 27 touchdowns. As a senior, he led Athens to a 14-1 record and was named Ohio Mr. Football and Gatorade Player of the Year. The football stadium was renamed after Burrow in December 2019. In addition to his success on the football field, Burrow was a standout basketball player and was named All-State at point guard as a senior. He turned down multiple mid-major scholarship offers in order to pursue football. According to 24/7 Sports, Burrow was a rated 4-star recruit and was the 8th highest ranked dual-threat quarterback in 2015. He committed to continue his football career at Ohio State. Burrow redshirted his first season at Ohio State. The following 2 seasons, he sat behind JT Barrett, appearing in 10 games. He threw for 287 yards and 2 scores as a Buckeye. Burrow realized that he would lose the starting job to Dwayne Haskins as a junior and opted to transfer to LSU in May 2018. He was named the starter as a redshirt junior. Burrow made his first major impact for the Tigers in an early season battle against number 7 Auburn. Burrow went for 249 yards and a score through the air in a 22-21 nail-biter victory. He earned SEC Offensive Player of the Week for his efforts. Burrow earned the honors again 2 weeks later, passing for 292 yards and 3 touchdowns in a win over Ole Miss. The Tigers went 10-3 and beat UCF in the Fiesta Bowl. They were ranked as the number 6 team in the nation in the final AP poll. Burrow finished his first season at Death Valley with 2,894 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 5 picks. Overall, a pretty underwhelming season. Burrow retained the role for his senior season. The Tigers faced an early test in week 2 against number 9 Texas on the road. Burrow went for an offensive explosion, passing for the 2nd most yards in school history with 471. He added 4 touchdowns and a single interception. LSU was victorious 45-38, and Burrow was named Walter Camp National Offensive Player of the Week. He broke the school record for touchdowns in a game with 6, earning SEC Offensive Player of the Week honors against Vanderbilt. During the first 4 weeks, Burrow went for over 300 yards in each game, becoming the first Tiger to do so. The streak came to an end the following week against number 7 Florida. Burrow went for 293 yards and 3 touchdowns, enough to lift the Tigers in a 42-28 win. They added another big victory over a top 10 team 2 weeks later, downing number 9 Auburn. Perhaps the most anticipated regular season matchup of the season was when the Tigers, ranked number 2 at the time, faced number 3 Alabama in early November. It received plenty of hype, showcasing 2 Heisman Trophy candidates in Burrow and Tua Tagovailoa. The game lived up to the high expectations, with the game ending in a 46-41 shootout with the Tigers on top. Burrow had 393 yards and 3 touchdowns, earning Walter Camp National Offensive Player of the Week again for his performance against the Crimson Tide. The Tigers secured an undefeated regular season and set up an SEC championship game against number 5 Georgia. The Tigers rolled over the Bulldogs with ease, 37-10, earning the top spot in the college football playoff. They faced off against number 4 Oklahoma in the Peach Bowl, taking an easy 68-23 victory. Burrow threw for 7 touchdowns in the first half and added 493 passing yards and a rushing touchdown in the win. This set up a national championship between LSU and the defending champions number 3 Clemson. Burrow was awarded the Heisman Trophy by the largest margin in history. His 60 touchdowns on the season are an NCAA record, along with his 202 passer rating. He passed for an SEC record 5,671 yards, throwing only 6 picks. It is considered to be the greatest season ever by a college quarterback. Burrow is widely considered to be the top prospect in the 2020 NFL Draft. The majority of mock drafts have him slotted to the Cincinnati Bengals with the first overall selection. Scouts compare Burrow to the likes of Kurt Warner. Scouts love Burrow for obvious reasons, citing his off-the-charts football IQ and intangibles. The knock on Burrow is the same it has been for years. He has below average arm strength and average release quickness. Even during his record-breaking 2019 campaign, there were times you can see his lack of arm strength. Luckily for Burrow, arm strength isn't nearly as important as one may think, and he is well aware of his limitations. The scheme run at LSU created clearer reads and easier one-on-one throws, something considered a weakness for Burrow. If he can land in the right scheme, he'll be fine. Looking at the Bengals, they have arguably the quarterback with the weakest arm in Andy Dalton, so it won't be much of a change in that aspect. Burrow's not physically remarkable and has poor 2018 film, but his monster 2019 season might overwrite his previous struggles. Scouts say he's a smart quarterback with special intangibles and could be a Pro Bowler if a team tailors its offense to his specific strengths and comfort level. I personally think that Joe Burrow to the Cincinnati Bengals is a no-brainer with the first overall pick of the 2020 NFL Draft. Tua has some injury questions, and I don't think he has the same intangibles as Burrow. I do believe Tua is more talented, but that isn't the most important thing when it comes to your franchise.